Hey YouTube, this is Nashtaters. Welcome back to another episode of War of Divisions. Today, I get to review my face, and this is what I look like. And we're going to do our 250 subscriber special as promised. But there's going to be one problem to this situation. I still did not get my camera. And right now, I'm using actually my digital camera just to record this intro, just to show you guys what I look like. Going forward in the future though, of course, once I get my webcam, I'm going to be reviewing my face pretty much in every video that I make. As you can see, I got my boys back here too. Well, the little one decided to run off. But there's my big boy right back there. And so, as promised, we're just going to do a 250 subscriber special where I'm just going to be talking about myself and do a little bit more reviews of my life and whatnot. Alright, let's get started. Alright folks, we hit the big milestone 250 a little while back actually. Maybe like last week. And so the camera is coming and it's just a matter of time. But they sent me another email telling me that it's delayed. And I guess they don't know when it's gonna come. Anyways, so I'm really happy we hit 250. Hopefully we can just keep going strong, go into the future. Still have a lot of ideas for this channel. But the one thing I really want to talk about is some of my past experiences. I think when I was maybe like 11, and we moved around a lot. And I remember we moved to this one apartment complex somewhere in the Midwest, and I didn't know anybody. I hated the fact that we moved around so much. And when we got there, I met this young kid, about my age. When we kind of struck it off. And he invited me to go hang out with him, so we did. We went to the beach, and then we met this girl. She was really cool. We kind of like saw each other and kind of had that little, glimmer in our eyes and whatnot, and we really hit it off. And she asked me to go to a party later on, and I think that time was around like almost Halloween, But then once kind of turned night, like I guess some dude showed up with a bunch of his friends. They were riding around their dirt bikes on the beach and just being like douchebags. And I guess turns out, I didn't know at the time, of course. Obviously later I found out that was her ex-boyfriend. And then at the time he's like, who are you? Why are you messing with her? And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was just telling him, dude, back off. We've broken up already. And then he wanted to start a fight with me. At that time, I was taking some martial arts lessons and whatnot, and I was like, hey, I'm confident myself, I'd kick your ass. And so we got in a little fist cuff, whatever, and it's pretty even. And then he kind of like kicked me really hard, and they were making fun of me. And then she told him to go away, and finally they gave up and they left. And then later on that week we went to the Halloween party, and I ran into those guys again, of course, because we all went to the same school. And the thing was, they were all like just little douches, and they were all dressed the same too. Like they were all wearing like these white skeleton outfits, trying to all be cool and stuff, matching and everything. I was like, whatever, man. Then as I was leaving, they tried to like pick a fight with me, and I told them I didn't want to fight. And then they were getting ready to jump me, and then I started running away. And I just figured I would run home because I live pretty close to the school. And they caught up to me, and they're gonna like try to beat me up. But then this old man from my apartment complex stepped in and beat them all up, and kind of like saved the day for me. And so later on, I befriended that old dude, and turns out he was this like ex-military guy, and he was I guess found out like I asked him like how do you do pretty good beating up all those guys at the same time. And I was like, can you teach me, teach me how to fight, And so he started training me, and then eventually we entered into this tournament, and I was doing pretty good, and then I got injured by this guy. He kicked me in my knee, and I found out that the instructor of his was the instructor that taught that entire group of boys that was bullying me the whole time. and apparently he told him to injure me so he can get disqualified, but he was trying to injure me to prevent me from moving forward in the tournament because I was doing really well, you know, because I was being trained by that old dude. And so anyways, long story short, I reached the finals, and I remember like one thing that instructor kept telling the other guy that I fought, which ended up being the ex-boyfriend of the girl I was seeing. And I remember he kept telling him to sweep my leg because of my injured leg, you know. He's like, sweep the leg, sweep the leg. And I was like, man, what a piece of junk, you know? Like, what a piece of shit, you know? And then so at the end, I managed to just like hop kick him in the freaking face, and I ended up winning the tournament. So that was a really good part of my life, I feel like. So yeah, that was a good part of my life. But you know, moving forward, you know, as an adult, I work in the restaurant business quite a bit. Actually, I worked in the restaurants for like 15 plus years. I started in Japanese restaurants as like a lowly guy that just washed rice and cut veggies and things like that. And over time, started gaining more skills. You know, this is why I feel like life is imitation of games, and then the games are imitation of life, right? And you know, I was gaining a lot of experience. I was leveling up, you know what I'm saying? Like, then I eventually became like a powerful I don't like to call myself chef, but you know, I did really well. And I thought about opening my own restaurants and things like that. And I can make a lot of sushi and things like that. So that's something I really want to do eventually, maybe in the next, you know, year or two, maybe, hopefully. I would love to, like, you know, have my channel, that maybe obviously now a separate channel where I just do a lifestyle channel where I'll be like, you know, cooking and doing vlogs of me traveling and things like that. I think that would be really fun. And my family is very diverse. Now that you guys get to see what I look like, my background is I was born in China, came to the States when I was really young, around like 8 or 9 years old, and you know, I'm Americanized. I know a lot of people told me they thought I was Western, you know, maybe Caucasian. This one gentleman actually thought I was sounded like a Caucasian baseball player. I don't know how he drew that conclusion, but it was interesting that he said that. It was during the stream. I think it was last Sunday's stream. It's very fun. We were all just hanging out, you know. And yeah, so my background's Chinese. I obviously was pretty much raised in America, Americanized, you know. You can see I'm a little chunky, and most of it I contribute to the time that I was playing World of Warcraft back in the days. And it's been a little bit harder to shed the weight off my face. I managed to trim a lot of weight off my body over time, but when I kind of like fluctuate back and forth with gaining weight, losing weight, they always just end up making my face look chunky. I have a really big head, you know, like hats usually don't fit me, but yeah, you know, it is what it is, right? Certain things you can't really do anything about. But I think once I decide that I want to go a little bit deeper in trying to get healthier and whatnot, I think some of that fat maybe hopefully will come off. But it gets harder and harder because I'm actually in my 40s, early 40s. You know, this is my birthday week, so I just actually turned early 40s recently. So yeah, a lot of good stuff going on, you know. And I do want to make some instructional videos in terms of how to like make sushi. I think that would reach a large audience of people who really just want to learn sushi, because sushi is still popular. I feel like Japanese food in general. And I'm a big fan of Japanese culture. I'm a big fan of my own culture as well, obviously. But I feel like the Japanese culture it sticks out to me, because I think the whole samurai spirit and the people working hard to gain and to reach goals and feel very accomplished. And I think, like I said before in one of my Friday Free Thinking videos, that I think people do take that culture and apply that to video games. And I think War of Visions has a lot of that applied, you know, the grindiness for equipment and the grindiness of leveling from 1 to 99 really feels that way. It feels like it's this grand, long scheme of planning and goals and reaching that makes you feel really good about yourself. You know, it's a journey, right? It's definitely a journey to get there. But once you get there, it does feel really nice. Like every time I I hit a level 99 in one of my units, I feel really happy. You know, I feel like I accomplished something. And so for me, that's something major. That's something major for sure. But other things I wanted to talk about was that I'm a huge fan of just eating food in general. Actually, this week I'm doing like this 7-day cuisine thing. We did Italian on Wednesday. Yesterday was Korean, and today I'm going more back. I guess going back to American because I'm running out of cuisines around here. But they're opening up a Chick-fil-A next to my house soon, which will probably not help me with trying to eat cleaner and everything. You know what I'm saying? But I love Chick-fil-A. It's a great restaurant, great franchise. And maybe one day I'll get to own one. You know, I would love to. That would be like my ultimate goal. If I retire, I would like to own Chick-fil-A, so I can pretty much retire. Because you know the lines are just out the wazoo. You know, people love Chick-fil-A. Something in there, man. People joke around and say they put drugs in there to get you to eat. But I found out I think it's just MSG. Okay, just like Chinese food, it's just MSG that makes you want to go back and eat more and more. And I'm not denying that because my mama used to put MSG in my food all the time. And man, it's just so tasty. You know, it has that distinct flavor and everything like that. But if you go and read the ingredients in the Chick-fil-A sandwiches and whatever, they put MSG. So I guess that's their secret recipe. But yeah, love food. I love to travel. I think in the future I'll be doing some vlogs. I think I'll definitely record those. That'll be interesting. Of course, once traveling gets safe again for people. And that's definitely something I'm thinking about. Because that's one of my big plans was to really make a YouTube channel where I can cook and things like that. And I think doing the gaming channel is a good intro to learn a lot of the nuances of being a YouTuber, right? I gotta get equipment. I do eventually want to have equipment for like streaming, and I want to have equipment to like sort of like a studio. So when I record my cooking things and whatever, it'll be kind of nice lighting, nice camera, things like that. So a lot of long-term goals for myself, and you know, baby steps, right? And of course, maybe I could do some like review videos of toys and things like that too when I like getting close to retirement age, because I still love toys. I think that's one thing about my life that will never change is toys. I'm fascinated with the idea of toys because, you know, human beings are very creative. You know, we're capable of creating toys that just really kind of be either educational, right, or just, you know, really get your creative minds going. And I think one thing, that's the sad reality of life, is when you get older, you have to think about like Alzheimer's and shit like that. And nobody wants to think about it, but it is real. It is something to contemplate. And I tell my parents all the time, you know, make sure you, you know, play games and things like that. Before the pandemic, we used to play board games a lot together, and that gets them to kind of make sure they exercise their brain a lot. And we used to play Settlers of Catan, and we get pretty competitive. My mom is super competitive. She loves to play those games. I'm not gonna lie, she sometimes tries to cheat, and so does my dad. And you think about it and you laugh about it, right? It's very entertaining. But yeah, definitely keeps the mind fresh when you get older. And I think Lego is definitely, in my opinion, like one of the best things you could do, even when you get older, because when you're building the sets and you're just like imagining things, you know, as you're building the sets. And sometimes if it's something to do with like your if it's something that reminds you of your childhood and things like that, so then, you know, your brain's constantly working and things like that. So yeah, I love that. But yeah, that's stuff that I want to keep going. And I think people have been asking me, like, you know, I'm sure people are thinking about, you know, what does my fiance do and how long we've been together. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and review how we met and things like that, and then we'll end the video. So as I said before, I worked in restaurants for a long time, and there's this one particular restaurant that I worked at. It's a very small family-owned business, and the owner comes to work with me and the other guys quite a bit, and so we became really close friends. And it was two brothers, and they were really nice folks. And it's a Japanese restaurant, and they've been around for a very long time, so he's very established. And after I started working there, maybe a few months into my work, a young lady got hired, and she was from California, and she's a really nice young lady. She came down because she was wanting to be closer to her boyfriend, things like that. And became friends, became friends with pretty much anybody that works there. And then I guess a few months after that, another one of her friends came in to eat with her, right? They came to eat because they get discounts and things like that. And they came to eat together, and then this friend of hers came in, and I was just intrigued by her right off the bat when I first saw her. And they came to the sushi bar, and they're like, hey, we really want, my friend's looking for a job too. Do you think you can give her a job? And my boss was working in the sushi bar with me at the time. She's like, well, just do the thing. Just go to the front, get an application and apply, and go from there. And as they walked away, my boss was like, so what do you think? Because we're like just a little bit, few years apart, and we always talk trash about girls and guys and whatever in the bar. Get bored a lot. And then she's like, what do you think? I was like, oh hell yeah, you better hire her. And so of course he hired her, and we started just kind of hanging out. And at that time I was really into fitness, and it turns out it's a small college town, and so we started hanging out because I was going to the gym and she was going to the gym, and then we started like getting together to go to the gym, things like that. And eventually we started hanging out because like I said before, we were having a lot of mutual friends. So I started hanging out with everybody, and we started like going out, partying, things like that. And then eventually we started like kind of date. And to be honest, to this day, we both don't realize when we actually started dating, like a specific date, like people talk about anniversaries and like that. But we just got along so well, and we started dating. And then at that time, she found out she got into medical school, and I got into nursing school. And we had to actually live apart for several years because we were in different schools. And that was kind of hard. But I think that made our relationship a lot stronger, because a lot of things happened. And actually she had this instance where someone broke into her apartment, and she confronted the dude, and I was like, wow. Afterwards, even the police officer told her that was kind of crazy that she did that. But she felt like if she confronted him, it would kind of maybe scare him a little bit. And I was just thanking God that he didn't like harm her in any way, And then at that point, she took Nashtaters, because my Nashtaters is a big black dog and very intimidating looking. And so she had him for a long time to kind of like keep her company, because she was living by herself. And then eventually she moved away to do her last 2 years of school, like her rotations, as they call them. And that's eventually I joined her, and we finally moved together. And and then later on we moved to the Midwest, where I got my first job as a nurse, and she started doing her her residency, right? And then finally we moved back to Florida, where she officially started to work, and I found my job as a pediatric nurse, continuing my work as a pediatric nurse. So yeah, that's kind of how we met. So we both into the medical field, and we both love the same food. She's from Hong Kong, so pretty much a lot of the same backgrounds and whatnot. But I feel like she's a strong part of my life that made me start adulting quite a bit. You know what I'm saying? Since I met her, I used to be very childish, and she helped me become the person I am today. And I really want to thank her for that. She's a big part of my life. As you can see, she's like, just plays the game just to kind of, hang out, really have something to share with me as well. And that's kind of cool for her. So she clearly doesn't know a whole lot about the game. I had to help her out quite a bit, but she's a big fan of supporting me with the channel, and she does a lot of the technical work and stuff like that for the channel. So it's a really nice thing to have someone by your side to be your pillar to lean on. And so she's an actual physician, so she works pretty hard. And with the COVID, you know, it's very scary. And that's why she made those comments about how when she got whisper, you know, she's just happy that someone's wearing a mask. Because, you know, from the medical perspective, we want people to be healthy and protect themselves. And the movie in the future, I think we'll do something big for 500 subscribers. I'm thinking of maybe doing a contest or something as a giveaway to really thank the community of War of the Visions. And I have something planned. I won't reveal it now. Maybe when we hit 450 or something like that subscribers, I'll announce it. So there should be plenty of time for people to try to participate in that special event. Thank you for watching this video. And as always, take care of yourself and all your loved ones. Nashtaters and his family out.